Welcome everyone, this is Pilot Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
Maven.
Hey y'all.
And Sanswinda.
Hello.
Hello there everyone. Let's head into the news for this week and we'll begin with a little downtime.
I guess we probably should talk about all of the downtime we've had this week, because we had the update.
Yeah, I was surprised that wasn't in the show notes.
Well, I mentioned that my head's not really with it, right?
Okay.
The update was on Tuesday, right?
The update was on Tuesday.
Was that 21.2?
Yes, 21.2. And then we had a hotfix.
Thursday, was it?
Yesterday, right? Wasn't it Friday?
Yeah, it was yesterday, yes.
And we have another hotfix coming tomorrow.
Yes,
Right.
so we had an update plus the inevitable hotfixes after the update.
Well, we've had
Right.
one of the hot fixes. No, we're getting another one.
Now we're getting the second one.
It'll be 2 by the time the episode comes out in the feed.
True. Just trying to keep it all straight in my head.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And
with this
some of the
update... Sorry, what did we get with the actual update, though?
2 new instances.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
And the festival.
And some festival updates, which I'm sure that we'll be talking
Really
about
cool
all the
festival
time.
stuff.
Oh,
Cosmetics are awesome. Actually, that reminds me, I need to check something on the cosmetics. Cosmetics are awesome. There's a shoulder piece, a hauberk, a cloak,
And a dress.
all matches, and the dress, and the steed, which is really cool. Plus,
and the shield also matches the
shield,
stuff,
which is a
nice.
warden's shield.
Ooh.
A warden shield.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a warden's shield. They are unfortunately still buy into account on acquire, and Standing Stone, you guys have got to stop this. Please stop binding them to account on acquire, because it is not
the
fun.
bummer is they don't even have the packages like they have in the past. You know how they've done packages where you can get the package of that? This time they don't do that. They didn't do that.
One of the most fun things about the cosmetic system is you can collect these pieces and then share them with new people. So it's like, come join the game because I can make your character look awesome. Except I can't do that if I can't share my cosmetics.
Yeah.
It's really irritating and it needs to stop.
I think
That actually
right.
irritates me more than the fact that the festival dyes still are not available as recipes. They're just available for straight barter. So I'm still boycotting them.
I think they said that one of the hot fixes, maybe the one tomorrow, is supposed to put the packaged cosmetics in, but that's still not the same as being able to share your cosmetics.
No, because what are you supposed to do? Hang on to a package until somebody shows up who needs one?
Right, and then
that just
that
takes
person
so
can't
much
share it
wasted
either.
space, and then they can't share it, and
Yeah.
it's much easier if you can...
Stop making them buy into account.
Sure.
If you're worried about people making money on the auction house about stuff like that, make the pets buy into account.
That's a good idea.
Because those are actually selling for more.
Yeah.
I can
Anyway,
tell,
I'm
can
done.
tell that
Okay.
Pine Leaf doesn't
Your
really have a
rant
dog
is
in this
over?
race.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Very well. Then let's head to the mount collection panel, which has been updated and looks nicer now, which reminds me that my burglar has to now pick a mount from that box I got last week.
Yeah, and I really love that the preview shows you like the mini sizes for the smaller races.
That was thoughtful.
Yeah.
So it shows the mount how it would look on your character. Okay, that's good. And we also have filters for loot, quest, and sounds. And I think we already talked about that a bit during previous episodes. And using Alt-R. Now, it's going to take me a while to remember Alt-R because I remember the first time I was getting it because in Quest, I think it's loot where I think I heard her Trish earlier say something that if you have the whatever you call that loot overflow area, that if you use that,
Yeah,
you
your
filter
overflow
on there,
bag.
but it's not in the backpack, so therefore,
right.
so
If it's in your backpack, you do Alt-R and then can drag it to the filter area.
Right.
But we'll be talking about that in a little more detail later on in this show.
Right. And you can also filter out quests and various sounds in there. And we, of course, updated Fall Festival stuff, which we'll also probably talk a little bit more later on. And anything here that anyone found interesting that wasn't talked about before in an earlier week?
I don't think so. We have, with the update, we have, if you're at Endgame, we have new daily requests. So now we have daily quests and we have daily requests. And the difference one of the differences between the two, the daily requests are a lot simpler. But the daily quests, you can just go to one of the faction houses and pick up, the quest for the daily quest. But for the daily request, you have to go to that expedition organizer in every single one of the 4 halls because each one is different. So to pick up all 4 daily requests, you have to make the round of the halls, and you end up with 2 of the daily requests are in one of the areas that the daily quest is in, and 2 of them are in the other area. But they're kind of fun because one of them is like Samwise. You go into the Hobbit one, and the guy says, I've been asking Master Samwise if there's anything we can do for him. And, he didn't really want to have us do anything, but I pressed him. And finally he said, could you go kill spiders in Lingris? Because those spiders really bother me. So then you go, you have to kill X number of spiders in Lingris for Sam. It was really funny. So those are all giving we have a new relic called a preserved relic of the Alliance. So and you can trade in your old ones for this preserved relic. And those have become, besides being Allegiance rep items, clickies, they're also barter items for new armor that you can find with the rep vendor. And then the Elf Enchanter has a whole new set of armor ashes. That is that's probably the top of the line gear in the game right now, is the stuff that the Elf Enchanter has. So it's like, and the ash is now saved account wide. So all of your characters can access whatever ash you get.
Well, that's handy if you end up having an overflow before one of your other characters gets
Right, yeah.
Like I'll ever have an overflow of ash, yes.
So that's some of that. But and one of the things they're going to hotfix tomorrow is, I guess, that some of the gear that was dropping, the new gear that was dropping from the loot boxes in Mordor didn't have the right stats on them when you got them out of the box. So they're fixing that in the hotfix tomorrow. But so it's a whole new level of essences. There's a new essence recipe that you can get that now requires a solvent, which what is it called? Universal solvent. And then also there's new pets. So the Gorgoroth rep vendors have new pets. You can get snakes, and I got the cutest, ugliest little Lingris wormling that you've ever seen in your life. And I forget what else they have. Well, I think what they ought to have, for those of you that don't know, that in Lingris you get these things called bloated crawlers.
Yeah.
And if you pass by them, they blow up. And I'm like, that should be a pet, right? That should be a pet. So you have the bloated crawler, and then unannounced, unexpected time, it just blows up.
I want tiny baby pet spider.
No.
Me too. Like a little spiderling, right? Like the little white spiderling.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those. They may have them. I mean, because I'll be talking about my highlight later. I got another pet out of a Gorgoroth loot box, and I saw somebody else had gotten an Agronite thing, which is not one you get from the rep vendor. And so they must have gotten that out of a box. So it's possible that there's a spiderling in a loot box. That'd be pretty cool.
Sans disagrees that it would be.
If we get
cool,
one, we need to send it to Sans so she can have her own spider.
Yeah.
No.
Of course, you realize of all of us, who's the most likely to get one in a loot box is Sans Wenda.
Me.
Does the random number generator hate her as much as it hates Drac?
It might. Well,
pretty
in
sure
this
he's
case, it would be
everybody.
reversed. It would be reversed
It would
in
be
that she would get
reversed.
it as opposed to not getting it. As
Well,
a direct
yes,
fix.
yeah. If it hates her,
Yeah.
she'll get it in that
Right.
case.
Right.
We'll hope it's my friend if anything like that lurks in those loot boxes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just never open one.
There you
Well,
go.
there is that. At the pace I'm going, I probably never will open one of those things. And one other thing is there were some updates to the Lua interface, and fortunately, they must have done some tweaks since over because
It broke Titan Bar.
it did break Titan Bar. Titan Bar works fine for me.
It broke the tracking for certain currencies for Titan Bar.
Oh, I wasn't looking at the currencies thing. I don't check that all
There's-
that much.
There's a download patch for
There
that.
is a patch you can download to fix it, yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear. But I was afraid that it was going to break buff bars because then during the beta, buff bars was broken, but that's working now, so they must have some tweaks since the original update there. But you say Titan Bar, the currency part of Titan Bar is not working,
Right.
but that there is an update available.
I think it's a general
'Cause I-
plugins update thing that you can do
Yeah,
to
it's
make
a
things backwards
passive
compatible.
thing. Because I use it to keep track of my LOTRO points, and it's not currently working.
All right. Very well. Then let's head to the LOTRO beacon. And this week they're, of course, talking about Team LOTRO Stream working on the Extra Life Marathon,
Which is currently ongoing.
which is currently ongoing, and of course is going at the same time as the Sigma Mu annual fundraiser. So, real fun thing of those being on the same weekend. Lots of fundraisers.
Get your wallets out.
Yes, get your wallets out. That's probably the perfect way of putting it. And we also, of course, have our weekly comment, and that is, what is your favorite part of the Harvest Math Festival? And I want to assume that Terry Adwin's answer is not the Haunted Burrow.
No. I actually really like Troves and Trickery. Which probably shouldn't come as a surprise since I was saying earlier that I remember where all of the people are without having to look it up.
Yeah, it must mean that you repeated it quite a number of times,
Yeah.
right? The Maven.
Oh, I like the burrow. I got the burrow down to a science. I can run through that sucker. I can multitask. I can be like doing 6 other things and running through the burrow. It's a great way to, if I have a alt that I'd like to level up for some reason, it's a great way to level an alt up. And you can actually score a lot of, it's amazing how many festival tokens you can score. So I just find it relaxing. I'm the opposite of Terry because I like this maze for the same reason. It's just like I know it and I can just run it almost like on automatic. So it's fun. I like going through that. I don't really like going through there when there's a lot of people there, but I do enjoy the burrow.
Sans, have you had a chance to experience the festival yet?
I have, and I get ridiculously lost in the burrow most of the time. But I appreciate that there are things that you can do that don't require very much time, like looting chests, and bobbing for apples, and digging for geodes, and picking pumpkins from the pumpkin patch, and I think there's some scrolls that you can dig through.
And those are repeatable once an hour.
You can repeat them once an hour, and I found that extra helpful when things are really busy at home, to be able to pop in, do something, and then keep telling myself that I'm going to get around to learning the actual quests at some point.
And my favorite part of the Harvest Mass Festival is Bingo Boffin.
Bingo was new this year, wasn't he?
It is new. I do really like the addition of Bingo to the Harvest Festival. The quests are really cute.
Yeah. Now, I don't think they're repeatable like the others.
No, they're not.
So obviously it's not. So it's not one of the
Well, you get 24
things
tokens when you finish it. So.
It's a yearly repeatable, I think, because it does have a repeatable thingy on it.
Yeah.
So it'll be repeatable again next year if you've done it.
And I found it interesting that maybe I won't go too much on what's involved, just in case there's anyone here who hasn't done it yet. But I've done. Let's just say there's one part of it which something was different in the 2 times that I did it through. So therefore, you can't do it a couple of times without it being exactly the same.
Interesting.
Yeah. And let's see, according to the Beacon, last week we dealt with some goat waste.
Yep. Well,
we did.
Arendis did. Technically.
Yeah. So we did go into there, and our screenshot of the week is from Asher Godapal, who is the most ferocious goat in Middle-earth, according to Marakir.
Looks good enough to be a war goat.
So, therefore, that's his proposal for a war goat, then?
Sold.
Sold.
Where can I throw money?
I don't know, but speaking of money, what's on sale this week?
Well, funny you should ask. First of all, this week's free sample made me giggle because it's a fall injury immunity times 5 with the coupon code MINDTHEGAP. Also, LOTRO's giving away from now and through October 22nd, which is next Sunday, 50 Mithril coins. Coupon code is Mordor Mithril, which is awesome because I can always use more Mithril. I taught my mother how to cheat with travel stuff today. Yeah, that happened. I was like, you know what? You don't have Mithril coins. Let's give you some Mithril coins, and then I don't have to run all the way back out of here. And 25%.
You get 50 Mithril.
Yeah.
You get 50 Mithril. Everyone gets 50 Mithril.
25% off storage stuff. Vault storage and shared storage, inventory slots, and currency cap. Yay! Unfortunately, they really need to put Mithril coins on sale because it's been ages since we've had a Mithril coin sale. And yes, free Mithril is good, but we will happily throw money away for that too. But I prefer them to be on sale.
Then let's head into the site news, and we'll begin with the Norbog news. The war is over, and other news from Mordor.
This was a squirrel article that was really cute.
Yeah. And we're asking all sorts of things that are going on as a result of the ending of the War of the Ring. The headlines, of course, being that Aragorn announces total surrender and all that stuff. But they want to go into the deepest secrets, like, is Gwahir left, right-winged?
New CD released by the heavy metal group Warbands of the Valar.
Yes, and as we talked about earlier, Bingo Boffin is reunited with his cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, he apparently was busy because he also went into depth on the Great Barrow. Talking about what the Great Barrow was like at launch, was like inside the instance, how the wings changed, and what the Great Barrow is like today. And that's a place where we've done quite a bit of that in some recent times on the field trip, because every once in a while we have a lot of people at level 20. What do we do when you have 6 people that are at level 20 that want to quest together?
You can do skirmishes, or you can do the Great Barrow.
Right.
Great Barrow is actually a really great place to get your feet wet for group content.
Yeah.
Because it's scalable, it's fairly predictable. The mechanics are fairly simple. It does have mechanics, which skirmishes kind of don't, or at least skirmishes at that level tend to have fewer mechanics than like a level 20 Great Barrow. And at that level, your characters are also still low enough that you're still kind of sort of playing to your class types. So you've got your healers, your tanks, your DPS and whatnot, instead of later on when you've got more trait points, you can be a little bit of everybody has a little bit of everything. It's actually, Great Barrow is one of my favorite instances to do.
Is it because of the intro level, or is it because of something else?
It's because it's easy enough for me to remember it. So,
I think you got a point there, because a lot of these later ones I do go, huh? What did you do now?
A lot of the later ones, it's like, okay, I know there's a thing, but I don't remember what the thing is. And Great Barrow it was one of the first instances where I kind of got my feet wet on how group content works. Not the first instance, because the first instance would have been Fornost. But Great Barrow was an early one, and it was the one that kind of stuck with me as, okay, well, this actually works really well if you actually do all of these things. So it's like, Great Barrow is the one that I can get together with just about any group of people, and as long as you have people who are all at least speaking the same language, you can get through it without too much death and destruction to the party.
All right. I guess that makes sense. And yes, we have done it successfully quite a few times. Terry guiding us expertly through it. Actually, I think she's trained us well enough, because I think the last time we did it, she wasn't able to be there, but we remembered enough that we were able to do it. So good training.
Yeah.
So therefore, let's head into our new player question of the week. And Terry, you have a question?
Well, I do. We sort of kind of covered it earlier, but I was wondering how filtering of items work, because we've mentioned that filtering can happen. We've mentioned what things can be filtered, but we haven't really talked in depth about how to filter. And I have my tutorials turned off, so I don't actually know if there's a tutorial that pops up on how to filter things. I think no, because Mom was in the game today and she didn't get one.
She has tutorials on?
Yes.
I don't know because I haven't played with it yet. Sorry.
Yes. I have used filters for items and for... can't remember if I filtered out any quests yet, but I definitely have done it on a couple of items. Usually,
the quest one's easy, because the quest one is like right there when your quest pops up.
Right.
It's the other two that are a little more difficult to figure out.
The most important thing to remember is Alt-R, which brings up the panel. And then you've got 3 tabs for whichever one you want to use. And for the items, when you go into the item filter tab, what you have to do is you have to drag the item into the appropriate section. There's one section that's for filter just for this character, and there's another section to filter it for everybody. And therefore, if it's something that there is no way in the world any of your characters ever want to see. For example, all those consumable clickies that put debuffs on other players that you find in the Fall Festival.
Yeah.
They've got a quick trip to the skip on everybody filter area.
Yeah, really.
And I think that's the main one that I do in there. Sounds, I tried that on beta, but I do know that I think if you go to the screen, you're supposed to hit this record button, and it shows you what sounds are being played in the area, and then you can select one and choose to filter it, but the details. It's been a few weeks since I did that video. But it's pretty straightforward, I think. It's just make sure you're in the control R on the panel for sounds, hit record, and then it'll show you what sounds are in the area, and you could select those to be filtered out so you don't have to hear those sounds again. Now, it will finish whatever loop is currently playing for that sound, but once that loop is over, it'll never select that loop again. And when I tried that with Angmar, just to see it back during on Bulwer, and Angmar somehow feels even weirder without those sounds. Dead silent Angmar. And you think that those sounds, what could be scarier than the sounds of Angmar? It is a dead silent Angmar.
I could see that being pretty eerie.
Yeah, that's eerie all in its own right. Any other components to your question, Terry?
No, I think you guys have covered it.
Okay. Anyone else have anything they want to add to the answer? Now, Maven, you said something about the pending loot bag.
Yeah, am I on? I'm
Yeah.
not muted, am I? Okay. If you have, because I don't auto loot, so everything goes into my pending loot bag, and that has a filter that has a little funnel icon, actually two of them at the bottom, and it's the same thing. One is for just this character, one is for all characters, and so you can select the item in your overflow bag and then just hit one of those buttons, and it'll also do the same thing. It'll add it to your filtered column, so you don't have to use the Alt-R thing.
Then let's.
Oh, actually, it's not a funnel; it's a little person.
It's a little person.
It's a little person. One person or multiple people. So one is for, just this character, and the other one is for all the characters on this server.
Okay. Now let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Terry Adwin, what were you up to?
Well, we ran through all of Heligrod with the girls from Middle-earth, and then I made the mistake of volunteering Land of Alteri to help a hobbit do an extremely long epic battle.
Oh dear.
Oops.
To the point where we did Deeping Wall, because one of the girls mentioned that they were having issues with Deeping Wall, so I said, well, I'll run it with you. Because we talked about, there were 7 of us, so we talked about doing it as a raid, which I knew was not going to end well, but she was doing it for the Helm's Deep epic story, and in order for it to count for the Helm's Deep epic story, you have to do it solo duo.
Right.
Which is a restriction that I've never quite figured out, but whatever. So we get in, and I have issues with the Helm's Deep epic battles anyway, because they are kind of standing around and wait for stuff to happen, which is not what Terry likes to do, because Terry is champion. She prefers to be the one going in and killing things, not waiting for them to come to her. Waiting around, standing still is not her modus operandi. So it was the longest epic battle I've ever been in. And meanwhile, the other girls are still in voice chat because Sans is streaming. So on stream, they're running the Great Barrow, and then they did Survival Barrow Down. So we're hearing all of the fun that they're having, and we're going, oh my God, is it over yet?
Well, at one point, they're like, that's done. And I was like, yes, you want to come join us? They're like, no, not that done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one the first encounter was over with. And we still had so much stuff. It was horrible. It was horrible. It reminded me why I don't do those. Yeah. And then Harvest Math, my dwarf runekeeper Durgi is getting his turn to bat at playing with festivals. So he's going to be unlocking the Ale Association, yet another alt with the Sinister title. And had a lot of fun running through with the bingo stuff, because I hadn't seen bingo, and I get to the party tree, because I started in Thorin's Hall, because he was already in Thorin's Hall. So I did, the troves and trickery bit there, and I did did the geode, and then the dance guy was up, so I did the dance. And then I went down to Dweeland and did the Trojan Trickery bit there, and then the dance person was up, so I did the dance and dug out the scroll, and then I get to the party tree, and hey, there's bingo at there's like all kinds of rings at the party tree that I've never seen before, and hey, what's bingo doing at the party tree? So that was a lot of fun. And then I finished that up today, the bingo stuff, and was really pleased with it. And then this morning, LOTRO stream was streaming Extra Life, and I knew Signum U was going to be coming on with their webathon thing, so I did not stream this morning, but had that stuff not been going on, I would have been streaming this morning because I played LOTRO with my mother this morning, and we were finishing up some of her outstanding Lonelands quests. And questing with my mother is always an entertaining experience because, first of all, she has this tendency to run off in the wrong direction. Like, I'll say this way, and she'll go, okay, and she'll run off in the opposite direction of where I'm facing. So then I have to go, and then she goes, well, where are you? Well, I didn't go anywhere, but I'll come get you and tell you where we're supposed to go. And so there was a lot of that, and then she accidentally clicked the button to take her to the kinship house. And I didn't realize that she had clicked this button until she'd actually vanished from my screen. So then I got up and went around the table to figure out where the heck she went, because I didn't know what skill she clicked. And I said, oh, you're at the kinship house. You need to get out of the neighborhood. She says, okay, how do I do that? And she pulls up her map. I said, okay, you are here, which that corner of neighborhood in Thorns Hall. You have to go here. She goes, okay. 20 minutes later, she finally makes it out of the housing neighborhood. Yeah, so that happened. That was entertaining. And in the process of getting her to run out, I switched characters and sent myself a rally horn so that I could rally her back to my location. And yeah, that was my week. So Sanswinda, how was yours?
My week was pretty good. I made some monsters, fairly literally. I helped my sister create a warg, and my nephew, I helped him quest to level 10, which was a big accomplishment for him. He's 7, and he claims he can't read. But we got him to level 10 so he could create a Reaver. And he might be slightly confused because he was pretty sure he was making a troll. But yeah, he was having a lot of fun when I last saw him down in the Hobbit village trying to find the mayor. So that was pretty cool. I discovered, though, that, again, the baby wargs are even more painful than I had remembered, because I ran a new baby warg with my sister's baby warg on that server, and we should have been timing in minutes, because it took forever and a half to finish off the mayor with both of us. And it took about half as long as it took to kill the mayor to kill even a single farmer in Hoar Hollow. And that was just sad. We were lucky there weren't a bunch of freeps out, because we were just sitting ducks for like swipe, swipe, swipe. And the guy's like, hi. We're like, swipe, swipe, swipe. You're losing morale twice as fast as we are, but you're not going down. So they're like, deflect, 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 evade, deflect, deflect, parry, deflect. I'm like, seriously, can we not land a single blow on this guy?
He was elected mayor for being resilient.
Apparently. It felt like it must have been 30 minutes, so it was probably closer to 5. But, oh man.
That's still a long time.
That was still way too long to be trying to get that guy with 2 people. Anyway, 2 rank 0 wargs are not the best fighters, apparently. Not that I should have expected them to be, but I expected them to be slightly better. And then on the field trip, I ran Retaking Weathertop with a perfectly matched group. 2 captains, 2 wardens, and 2 guardians. Okay, maybe not the best balanced group, but It was fun.
By weight, they were perfectly balanced.
I think perfectly balanced was what we decided they were. Yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of fun and one of the easiest Weathertop runs I've done. I mean, besides the fact that I didn't have Levy feet, and that was kind of sad. Everything was dying pretty fast, so. And that tells you that I was not one of the 2 wardens. And I took Sans to the Haunted Burrow to see if I could remember where to find the chests. And the very first time, I got her to the basement. And I saw the little keg door, and I opened it, and the poor hidden chest, and I clicked on it. I was like, why is there this random piece of paper in my bag now? I found a painted skeleton steed.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was a pretty great
people
favorite festival
station
moment.
their alts in that room to go in every hour on the off chance of getting that.
Well, and I was still in shock that I had found it, so it took me a while to process what I had actually found inside of it. But
watch, in the Yule Fest, she'll get it like a hobby horse right away.
Yes.
That would be really awesome. Actually, I wish I could, like, trade it for the hobby horse, but, it's pretty cool. So, that was kind of an awesome start to the festival. And then I managed to find the mysterious door after many trips in circles and falling down and being blinded, and then I was frustrated and logged off for the night. But it was fun. Maven, how was your week?
Oh my goodness, let's see. So I scroll up. Okay, there we go. So I continue having a blast on my baby hunter, doing only orange and red quests. Actually, I do yellow quests sometimes because, sometimes the gear I need to upgrade my pants or something, so I'll do, but I'm doing only orange and red quests on baby hunter, and it's great, especially since Glurdrail's my eldest, and she was my first ever character. Going through all these things as a hunter before was fraught with much fear and peril. And it's just been really fun. So let's see, what did I just do recently? So I recently did the Trollshaws, with Legolas, the really long instance. And I'm just on the verge of getting ready to go in and do the one with Gimli and the Mitzies. So that's really cool. I scored a naked mole rat, a roll rate. It says, I'll change that. Make it naked mole rat pet in a Mordor box, in a loot box in Mordor. And of course, his name is Rufus. I named him Rufus. Anybody that knows Kim Possible would know that you can only name a naked mole rat. Rufus. And among other characters, I took a lot of my characters through the Fall Festival, but I introduced my Ariad High Elf, Tinfang Warble, to the Harvest Festival, and he was kind of above it all, but he definitely liked the cosmetics, so he now has a brand new outfit, which is very, very nice. So, how about you, Pine Leaf?
Well, I will begin with the Harvest Festival, where I learned why hobbits don't wear shoes.
That was a fantastic little thing that happened.
Yeah.
So why don't hobbits wear shoes?
Well,
you can't tell you.
You have to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to do it. Right. And then my warden participated in a FI Lost Temple run, and it turned out that this must have been the first time that I did Lost Temple on my main character, and the reason why I came to that conclusion is because I was getting all these quest rings to talk to people along the way.
Oh, for in their absence.
Yeah, for in their absence, yes. So this is where so I've been waiting on this character for a while, apparently, to advance in their absence. So I finally got around to this. So maybe someday I'll actually get to a point on this character where I can actually finish in their absence. Probably in about 50 years.
I've never finished it on any of my characters.
Yeah. I have a feeling I'll never get because I think they'll require me to do the raid in order to finish it.
Yep, you gotta do the raid.
And I have a feeling that's not likely to ever happen. And then during the field trip, we finished up book 1 and ran through the Northern Barrow Downs, which meant going through Othrangroth and all that stuff, helping Tom Bombadil, who is a merry fellow, bright blue his jacket is and his boots are yellow. A lot of Tom Bombadil today because today during the Corey Olsen stream, during early parts of it, he was going through the original Tom Bombadil poem, where the character comes from, and doing a close reading on the various encounters in there. I don't know if you've ever read that poem. I'm sure Maven has.
Oh, yeah, I have. And gotten Corey's lecture on it.
And gotten Corey's lecture on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Have Terry, Sans, either of you two ever read that poem?
I have not.
Okay.
I think I did. But I think it was a while ago.
A while ago. All right. So
did he do it in game? Did he do it in game, or was it an Exploring Lord of the Rings session, or
what? Oh no, what? Oh, when he was doing it? No, he was doing that this morning as the first segment.
Yeah, I know. But I thought I saw it as Exploring Lord of the Rings, so I was wondering if he was doing that in game.
No, he wasn't doing that in game. He just had the slides.
Okay.
Slides up to go through each of them so that we will know where we got to each of the encounters. And of course, talk about various things such as exactly what size is Tom Bombadil when he was Tolkien imagining Tom Bombadil to be when he wrote the poem, since he wrote this before he wrote the Lord of the Rings, so therefore the size he gives in the Lord of the Rings doesn't really apply to what he was thinking of when he wrote the poem. Since he said, forget anything from the Lord of the Rings for Tom Bombadil. What do you get out of this?
Right.
We currently have 23 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious array of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on a podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. This week we have a featured comment from Marmy and Maven. What did Marmy say?
Marmy said, infused garnet, about new player question, infused garnet and adamant sapphire is an item which is required to be able to do some repeatable instance quests in Dolbenview and Ekadunnen, which in turn gets you some LI stuff like LI title, runes, relics, etc. as a reward. Think of them as tickets to enter these instances. Usually I'm doing a quest which gives me Ancient Dwarf damage title in Dolbenview. Actually, Balerian damage title is overall better, but it requires 3 people on level in Ekadunnen. It seems I'm currently on duty with new player questions. What?
Not sure about that. What that last sentence is about.
And I also, as I'm reading it, because this is actually first reading, is it a question? Oh, it's an answer, right? Was it an answer to a question that?
It was an answer, yes.
Yeah.
We actually answered the question during the podcast, so I'm not totally sure why we needed another answer, but okay. Every little bit helps, I guess.
Maybe because maybe this was for the benefit of those who might read the show notes, but not necessarily listen to the podcast.
That's true.
That would help with that. And I like the description of them as tickets.
It says tickets.
Yeah,
yes.
That's a good description, actually.
That's pretty helpful, I think.
But yeah, getting the Balerian one is a bit of a pain. I think it's Midnight Raid that you have to do in order to get it, and Midnight Raid is a pain.
Oh, really?
That's the one. Actually, I don't think I've ever done Midnight Raid at level, so maybe I can't say for sure whether it's as much of a pain as I know I used to thought that Flight of Drakes was really, really hard back when I had first attempted that, but the last time I did, we almost walked through it. I was like, what? I guess that changes over time, depending on what equipment you have, I guess. And if you'd like to email us, you could send us an email at podcast@LotroPlayers.com. You could also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @Players Alliance, Lotro Players @LotroPlayers, Ariendes @Ariendes, Maven @Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Noodles, Senswinda @Senswinda, and Terry Edwin @Terry Edwin. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You join us for our live shows at LotroPlayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And until next time, this is Pineleaf Noodles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.